welcome once again to this week's edition of Latrobe GPL 357, where we are a few degrees short of a full circle. We are right in the midst of finals, and this week we have one of the greats of the Premiership joining us. I'd like to first of all introduce our guest host, the man behind the bar. Scotty, how are you, mate?
Good, Tony. How are you?
Thanks for joining us today, and one of the legends, four-time All-Latrobian, the Gummers captain himself, Shane McCarthy.
Tony, are you well?
Very good, thank you.
Very good.
In the middle of the final, somewhere where the Gummers have been plenty of times before. We will do some reviews of the first week of the finals last week. We're going to go and search for some lost degrees, as we always do. We'll have a bit of a chat about the team survivor and how the Gummer streak is under pressure. We'll wrap that up, and then we'll talk about the knockout, and we'll do some reviews of some of the teams that have now finished their 8th season. So we might start it off, and we'll start to talk about the finals, the first week of the finals, and we'll talk initially about the Tunners versus the Tridents in what was the major semi-final. The winner of this goes straight to the prelim, and we see the Tunners on 170 got up against the Tridents on 168. Shane, what did you think of this game?
Well, I played with Paul Dusky, and he was also our first player in the British Open.
Yeah.
So he started off a little bit slow. He had 1 point and then an out, but managed to scratch his way back to 18 points, and then stood on the first birdie, second birdie, third par, fourth birdie, fifth birdie.
Finished with 41 points and was the star of the match, there's no doubt. The Tunners certainly fell away a little after that, with Gary Lennox, the captain, also having 34. But it proved enough, because the Tridents, a good solid team effort, but unfortunately they missed out having that one great score. They needed to get over the line. Lost by 2.
Dusky was too strong.
He was.
Too strong.
Yeah, so,
yeah, very popular, I'm sure.
so
outstanding game, mate.
The Tunners move on to the prelim, and the Keg Watch is alive and well, and the Tridents move on to the elimination semi-final. They go into sudden death, and they will be playing the Surats, who with 168 got up over the defending premiers Wally World by the solitary points. Scotty, shattering for the defending premiers.
The defending premiers, yeah, they would be shattered by that. It's a shock loss. The Surats looked like they were just travelling leading to the finals, but finals is a different kettle of fish, and they were able to get over the line by 1 point. So,
yeah,
well done to the Surats, bad luck to the Wally's World. They're normally in the top, normally last 4 of the season, but not this year.
Yeah, they're a good, strong side, Wally World. It was a great defence, really. They got themselves to the finals and nearly made the top 4, but when you don't make the top 4, you really are under the gun, let's face it.
Tatzlotto George was not happy this morning.
No, not at all, not at all. The captain, Willie Friscalzo, was the top scorer for Wally World on 35, and Gibby and Nick Flash Dunshay on 34. But it just goes to show you, one slip and you're out, and they are out. And the Surats move on in their first finals appearance. Sam Camilleri standing up under the heat with 35 in the last group to get them over the line by the point. Rob Motira at 35, and Rod Pfeiffer's coming through with 34. So outstanding work by the Surats.
Low scores.
Low scores, definitely. Tough conditions out
They're track at the moment.
So before we do the review of the next final, we might just go out and every week we do go out and see what's going out on the course and search for some lost degrees, and it's amazing what you find out.
Out here looking for some lost degrees. It's Carl, it's where it's the Chotch. These are the days
Not
the
going
legends are made. How are we looking? How's the legend
Just
going?
playing like a true rat, so
Really?
a bit miserable.
It is
freezing.
tough.
Going through my ears.
Surely. This is sewer rat weather.
I think I'm about 5 down. Got the back 9 to go.
5 down, 5 up. Cool. Just keep going.
Just like the Lions.
Exactly.
There's a 14 Charlotte Latrobe medalist out there. Brucey, this is round 15. We're coming up to the Charlotte Latrobe medal, where you will be picking the menu. What are you thinking you might want us to eat on that night?
I haven't really thought about it too much. I don't know what the options are yet.
Looking at where your ball is over here, maybe some rabbit.
He's a vegetarian.
A vegetarian.
So, but I won't do that to people.
I was going to say, this is going to be awkward.
It's going to be a testing time to see what the old Child Control Medalist comes up with the menu. I'm sure we can get a little bit of meat on it. We'll just have to wait and see what he comes up with. We'll move on to our next review now, and we'll start once again with the major semi-final, where the Corruptibles were taking on your Gummers. Shane. The Corruptibles on 167. Dean Pinataro steady as always on 35. Good team effort by the boys. Ed Doherty, the great man, again on 34, and Johnny Denton and Alan Curry chipping in with 33. And really they were given a gift by the Gummers. 150, one out, yourself on 37, and really not much more. What went wrong, mate?
Well, we have gone into a bit of a review. There has been an email from me, and just a very short email. I think the
We're
word.
going to be very short.
I think the word was lift, lift, boys. Look, I think that was the lowest score we've actually ever posted. So our timing was just dreadful. But I live in the hope that our boys, we have been one of the highest scorers this year, and that they have reflected deeply on this. We have got a good back, someone coming in, and that's young Cal.
Cal, back from New Zealand, not the greatest time trip, I'm tipping.
No, and he did it to us last year in Canada, so I'm going to have a bit of a chat to him, otherwise he's moving out. But he looks fit, I'm sure he's going to be ready, and that's a good in. But look, we've got some good golfers there, and I just know that they're going to come out hard. And they'll need to, because the Buglers, they'll be tough.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next match. You should tell Cal that you can actually travel in spring and summer as well. They do fly at that time as well. But the Buglers in the elimination semi-final, the Buglers are up against the Wanderers, and the Buglers will be moving on 170. The Wanderers just 163. They are great opener by Luciano DeMarco on 38. The captain at 34, but unfortunately the Wanderers have been great all year, but they just failed to fire in the finals, and once again we're on the precipice and are out.
Gone.
The Buglers walking the tightrope, but they're showing some better signs and are looking a bit dangerous. Scotty, how did you see that one?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Tone. Another good team performance by the Bugles, which is not always associated with them, but with the 35 and 334s, they're going to be always tough to beat. Paul Luch was probably one out, 38 this week, and good team performance will always win.
It certainly does, and it got them through, and they'll be up against the Gummers next week. How do you see it, guys? Let's have a bit of look at these, the things, the Tridents versus the Surats. How do you see that coming out?
I think the Tridents have been scoring well. So unless the Surats can find consistency, and that's been their problem, I reckon the Tridents might be a bit strong.
Couldn't agree anymore with you, Shane. Yeah, the Tridents have been very consistent all year. The Surats, as I've said in the past, they were 5 weeks ago, you probably write them down for a win, but yeah, they've got to keep that consistency up, or they'll be out the door this week.
Yeah, it's a tough ask in your first finals to have to win 4 in a row under the pressure. I tell you what, the cooker box, Scotty, will be firing if they do get up. I'll post a few scores early, and that should tell the tale, because the Tridents are an afternoon team, which I do think in winter is a bit of an advantage. And then this is really a massive match. Buglers versus the Gummers, 2 giants over the last 8 years of the premiership. Can you get up, mate?
Well, up until last week, I would have thought our consistency, I'd be comfortable to say I think we'll be good enough. But that was a big shock. So I can only hope that my boys do come out, and ladies come out and go hard. And if we do, we should be good enough. We should be good enough.
Yeah, well, what do you reckon, Scotty?
Yeah, look, I didn't realise this was going to be a final. It's probably good enough to be a grand final, this matchup, the Bugles and the Gummers. Buglers have been very consistent all year. They seem to be getting their troops playing at the right time of the season, which is the finals. Very, from my point of view, very too tight to call, I reckon. I'd hate to say.
It'll be noisy at
Big
the bar.
time to call,
Yeah,
yeah.
It'll be noisy at the bar.
There's
One
no-
way or another.
There's no doubt the Gummers all year have been more consistent, but the Buglers have a little bit of that star power which can help in the finals. We'll see what happens. We've got across
A
the
big crowd
table.
here.
Yeah, we do have across the table an array of shirts, all the Latrobian shirts. They're all yours, Shane, 4-time all Latrobian.
They are.
Which is a massive thing. Apple green, I believe, is the colour.
Apple green with a little bit of blue. Yes.
Lovely,
Yeah,
lovely.
It's going to be a very nice shirt to wear, Tony.
I believe so. What, a medium? You
Medium,
you
medium,
reckon? Is there any mediums in the order?
There are 3 mediums in the order.
3 mediums in the order.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to see if you've been selected.
Couple of smalls.
Couple of
Couple of larges.
Well, we'll see. It'll be a team of all shapes and sizes, there's no doubt. Last week we spoke about, me and Scotty sat down, we spoke about the team survivor, and we'll just have a bit of a recap about what we spoke about last week, and we'll come back and talk to the Gummers captain about the streak. The first grand final, which was last week, and what an absolute belter of a match it was. The top 2 teams, as it turned out, the first time this has happened, the Corruptibles played the Tunners, and by the Schweppes colours, the drinks, and the Corruptibles shirt just draped across this trophy. The Corruptibles defended it from their 2014 season. They've now won 30 in a row. The streak the Gunners set, which was going to be undefeatable at 39, is now under severe threat next year by the Corruptibles.
Oh, every chance they can get the job done, defending that, getting up to 40 in a row wins for the Corruptibles. Well, congratulations to the Corruptibles. They thoroughly deserved it. Look, the poor Tunners, look, it's come to that time of the year again. They weren't happy with me last time I was on the show when I didn't tip them. This is your time to shine. Unfortunately, you haven't won a cup here, so look, yeah, it could be
It's all right.
a sign of things to come.
A devastating blow for them, but it was a cracking match, and I think it may possibly be a grand final preview.
Well, very much so. It seems they did finish 1 and 2 at the end of the season, so yeah. So good luck to the Corruptibles, and look, I'm sure the Tunners will lick their wounds and come back fighting fit this Saturday afternoon.
So we'll turn our attention. So yeah, the Corruptibles back to back. I didn't really think it would happen. First of all, the Gummers have the streaks record, 39 games in a row before you get knocked out. 11 and 12, you won it back to back, and then made it to round 9 in 2013. What does it take for a team to be so successful in what is really a tough streak to achieve?
Yeah, it's an extraordinary one to do, because you can still have a really low score, but you just do enough to knock off the mob that you have. But it's just consistency. You have to have a good, consistent side that's going to shoot, on average, about 4 below par, week in, week out. So that's what gets you over the line.
Yeah, and then I suppose when it comes to the pointing end, as the pool gets smaller, you just got to perform each week.
Every week, it's got to keep coming out. Got to keep coming out. But you always remember the people that create the record, I say.
Yeah, right. You certainly do. Can you, Usain Bolt's 100 metres, can you tell me who created the 100 metre world record back in the 1900s?
Well, you got me on that.
Yes, well, until they
Was it
break
Brendan Matthews?
He's very quick. He's done show. I'd like to talk about that. There's no doubt you've got to turn up and play well to be as successful as a team survivor, and the Corruptibles will certainly do that. And they are willing adversaries for your record. And
Well, I
they
wish
may
him
give
well.
it a shake.
I wish him well. I wish him well, and good luck to him.
Yeah. Well, that'll be answered next year. We can't answer that.
And I will tell them if they don't.
I have no doubt. What we will do, just before we talk about the knockout, we've just talked about, we've now got some teams that have finished for the year. We'll just do a quick little review. I'll have a chat about F Troop, who finished in 12th position and got knocked out in the knockout last week. They won four after their lunches. I really do think the only problem with F Troop this year is they didn't have enough lunches. Because it certainly was a tactic that works for them, but I'm sure they'll rectify that next year. Scotty, who would you like to chat about?
Well, the Wood Ducks, quite simply, we just got to show up, but they don't. They continue they continue to not show up, and I spoke to the captain. I think heads will roll this year.
Yeah, they may go to the draft in a big way. What about you, Shane? Who you got?
Well, the Vultures, they're the ones that went to the pink.
They did.
They did. They went to the pink and they forgot to put the GPL logo on, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
So they can chuck that one out and come and see me, and I'll fix them up with winning polo shirts for next year. So, and we'll make sure that the GPL logo gets on there, and they might just win a few games then. So
They didn't go well in the pink. They
One wasn't it, Tony?
they went back to the grey after Georgie Smith stood in front of the camera and demanded it, and they started winning again. So maybe that shirt. And finally, the Phoenix finished the wooden spooners. The Phoenix the highest percentage ever for a wooden spooner. So it does show that they're a little unlucky this year. They did stand very heavily on the shoulders of Keith and Kel, who had a wonderful year, but didn't quite get enough support from his teammates. However, I've no doubt that they'll be back next year because they actually were a lot better than their position on the table suggests. Georgie Megaludis will no doubt head the review of the Phoenix this year. So finally we'll just whip through the knockout. That's the last things we've got to do. The Brother W's will be playing the Sewer Rats in the quarterfinals. Who's your tip for that, guys?
W's for me.
yeah, I'm tending to go with the W's too.
Yeah, well, I'll stick with the Sewer Rats only because they've got a lot to play for and they need to perform also in the Premiership. Corruptibles going for the Triple Crown against the Dynasty. This is a cracking matchup actually. The Dynasty have been sensational. They're the third highest scoring team for the year. If they show up, I think, oh geez, I tell you what.
Can Billy the Irishman get him going?
Well, we'll have to see. He'll be trying, there's no doubt.
Yeah, because we can't have the Corruptibles winning all three. I mean, the Gunners have had 2 cracks at that and failed at it. So we can't let them do that.
Yeah,
Come on, Dynasty, we're going for you.
I think the Dynasty might get up. The Corruptibles, I think, will just have a week off to refresh for the prelim. Scotty?
Yeah, the week off for the Corruptibles in the actual major event might count against them. So maybe the Dynasty, they probably deserve a bit of luck in his final series.
They do. Here we go, the All-Night Chemists versus the Ferrets. You'd have to say a couple of upset wins for these two getting through to the quarters. They've both struggled a bit this year. The Ferrets have really shown a bit over the last month since Preferred Lies come on. I think the Ferrets with Preferred Lies, they live with it. They love it, moving the ball a touch, and I think they might get up.
Did they find their erasers again?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think they needed it. The Preferred Lies getting them over the line.
Come on, Vinny. You can knock them over.
Yeah, I think the Ferrets have shown good form late, and the All-Night Chemists really only beat the Vultures last week, so you'd have to go with the Ferrets.
I can't go with the Ferrets, they hurt me too.
And the final match, the Tunners and Tridents, rematch of last week. They played last week, the Tunners got over the Tridents. Geez, it's a tough one. I think the Tridents might get up and a little bit more to play for. They're live in the Premiership this week as well, and I think the Tunners might just mentally have the week off.
The Tunners are impressing this year, so I'm going to go with them.
They are.
Well, I said it this last time I picked against the Tunners, I'll never tip it against them again, so I better stick with that, so I'm going to go to Tunners.
There's a free keg on still.
Yeah, the keg watch is on for the Premiership, and the Tunners are into the prelim, so they'll be going hard for that. They've got 2 wins to go to open that keg up. Guys, thank you very much for coming in. We are starting to really get into the pressure of this situation. So we've got all eliminations on the weekend. Whoever loses hangs it up for the week, the year.
Yep, the year, she's over.
So this has once again been Latrobe GPL 357. Finals are with us. Remember, if you want to win this thing, you need to turn up and play well.
Come on, Gunners.
All the best. Thanks for coming on, guys. And we'll see you on the weekend.
Bye-bye.